Hello guys, and welcome back to Makeup FOMO. So today we're super casual. I'm just like sitting on the floor of the closet and I don't really have any makeup on, but it was important that I film this today because I'm going to be showing y'all my like eyeshadow palette collection. Y'all have already seen my like makeup like declutter / organization video that has already gone up by the time you're seeing this, but that is kind of a separate video from this one because I have 100,000 eyeshadow palettes and I knew that video was already long, so I knew this one would just be equally as long and just make that even longer. So we're doing this separately. I'm actually also like, as I'm filming these other videos, filming like moving vlogs and house tours and moving related things, so they're all it's kind of big on my end, like a big mash of different videos that are all related to the same thing, if that makes sense. So basically I'm finishing up the closet organization today, which will be in a vlog, so make sure you're checking out the moving vlogs, but I can't really finish my closet until I get this huge thing of eyeshadows out of the way and into my Alex drawers. So that's what we're going to do today. So this is what I've been storing my palettes in since we moved from New Jersey. So it's just like this big Tupperware thing, and I have like I use this blanket to try to like cushion them when we are moving, and I have like 2 layers in here. Like underneath here there's a bunch more. So this is just how I've been keeping everything. It's not like super organized right now just because I've been like reaching in here to use them since we've been living here, but this is kind of how I've been keeping it. So now we're gonna get it out of there and get it into this drawer. So I think what I'm gonna do is just start taking palettes out of here. I'm just gonna show them to y'all really quick. I don't want to do like an in-depth review of any of them because obviously this video will then be like 200 years long, but I'm just gonna show you them, maybe just give you my quick little thoughts and then keep going through them, and then I'm gonna show you how I organize them in the actual drawer. So the first one on top here is my Juvia's Place Masquerade palette, which this is the large size. I freaking love this palette. Juvia's Place, as y'all know, are some of my favorites. Oh, and then hiding under that one is my tiny little Laura Lee Party Animal palette that came in BoxyCharm. And then I have my Alamar Reina del Caribe palette, which was also in a BoxyCharm. I love that palette a lot. You'll also notice some of my palettes I have in the box still, just because I like to keep them like clean and protected. So this is my Anastasia Soft Glam palette, which is still in the box. Next I have my Makeup Revolution Emily Edit palette, which I have a video up on my channel already with this palette. I will link that below. I love this. Actually, any videos that I have with any of these palettes, I will link below. I'm pretty sure I have a video with this one. I'm pretty sure I have a video with this one. Well, I definitely have a video with this one. I definitely have a video with this one. I definitely have a video with this one. So far, I have a video with every single one of these palettes that I've showed y'all so far. So those will all be linked down below. This is my Morphe 24G palette. This is also one of their like really huge like oversized pan palettes. I love this. This one's still in the box, and I also have a video with this palette, so that will be linked. This is the Pretty Vulgar Nightingale palette. This one I actually really like. This came in a BoxyCharm as well. And I actually have a video using this, not a specific tutorial, but like a trying new products video that this was featured in, so that will also be linked. I have the ColourPop All I See Is Magic palette. This was also still in the box. This is the Christmas collection from 2017. I don't think I have a video with that one, but I really love that palette. This is kind of an oldie but a goodie. This is the Pixie X It's Judy Time palette. I really love this palette. I got this like as soon as it came out. I don't know if they sell it anymore. It was limited edition, but it's a really good one. Next here I have the Carity Rose All Day palette. This is a fairly recent palette, and I just put up a video on this not too long ago using just dedicated to this palette. It has swatches and all that good stuff, so I will definitely link that. This one's a really good palette. I next have the Pure Celebrate Your Selfie palette. This is still in the box because this is like a very involved palette. It has all these shadows on it, and then it also came with like a lip gloss, a mascara, lashes, all kinds of stuff, and then like face products, blush, bronzer, highlight. I have a video dedicated to this palette up on my channel, so I'll definitely link that. This one it's really cool. It's a cool palette, but it's massive. Like, do you see how big this is? This is going to be interesting to try to fit into the drawer with the rest of these. I, of course, have the Too Faced Sweet Peach palette. I know a lot of people didn't like this one, but I really like this palette. Again, more Juvia's Place. Y'all will see a lot of Juvia's Place in this video because I have every single palette that Juvia's Place has ever made, except for the Saharan 2, just because I did not like that one, and I just didn't see a need to have it. I love all of their palettes. That one I just was not drawn to whatsoever, but I have every single other palette they have ever come out with, eyeshadow palette at least, not like the blush palettes, but I do collect their eyeshadow palettes, so I have basically every single one. This is the Festival palette. I have the Nubian 2 by Juvia's Place as well. I have a whole series on my channel, a Juvia's Place palette series, since I do have every single palette. I have a video with every single palette. I have a playlist of them, so I will link the entire playlist below and the individual videos, but every single Juvia's Place palette that I show y'all, I have a video with. More Juvia's Place. This is the Saharan 2. Oh no. Okay, so then I misspoke. It must have been the first Saharan palette that I don't have then. I thought it was the Saharan 2. So the very first one called the Saharan is the one I don't have. I definitely have a Saharan 2 here, obviously. And another Juvia's Place palette. This is the Deuce by Juvia's Place. This is also an oldie, but such a goodie. This is the Makeup Geek X Manny palette. I freaking love this. I actually did the using every shade in the palette challenge with this palette, and it was like one of my favorite looks I've done, so I'll definitely have that link down below. That's just only using this palette. It was really fun. I have the Makeup Revolution X Soph or Soph X palette. I'm pretty sure I have a video using this. Y'all will probably notice I have a lot of like collab palettes. YouTube collabs are like one of my favorite things to purchase and collect. So when YouTubers do like, you know, highlight, blush, bronzer, palette, lipstick, anything collab, I'm very drawn to it. So I have a ton of YouTube collabs. I'm actually wanting to do a video, either just my YouTube collab collection or like, and then maybe do like a series using each of the YouTube collabs, maybe either together or like a specific video for each palette or whatever it may be. So let me know if y'all will be interested in that. I have a couple Bad Habit palettes. I really like the Bad Habit palettes. This is the Aphrodite palette, which this one is gorgeous. I think this one was supposed to be a dupe for the Huda Beauty Rose Gold palette. Is that right? Or like the Desert Dusk. I don't remember which was which, but I love this one. And then I also have the Bad Habit Athena palette, which I think was also Huda Beauty dupe. This I've had for like years. This is just a little NYX eyeshadow quad. When they launched their store opening in, I think it was a store in New Jersey, and maybe it was Willowbrook. Me and my girlfriends went and like camped out and were one of the first couple people, so we got a bunch of free stuff, and then I just built this palette while I was there. So I don't use it a ton, but I do really like the shadows, and it's a cute little quad. This is one of the few like super drugstore palettes that I have. This is the CoverGirl True Naked Roses palette. I don't know if y'all could tell, but like one of the shades here is just completely gone, and it's unfortunate because that was literally my favorite shade in the palette, like that really pretty like matte mauve-y tone. I just really like the tones in here, and so I haven't gotten rid of it just because, even though this broke, just because I really like it. So I've still hung on to this. This is another one still in the box, just because I really like the packaging of this one. This is the e.l.f. x Christian Siriano collab palette. I love this palette, and this packaging is just freaking adorable. I love this one. Next, I have the Tarte Maneater palette. This is the volume 2, the one where they added the black shadow and made that big white one shorter. I didn't want to purchase the original one, but when they redid it, I definitely thought it was worth having. I do have a whole video on my channel using this, so I will definitely link that. Okay, so this is one of my favorite palettes of like all time. This is the Jeffree Star Androgyny palette. I freaking love this. Like, I think this is kind of got similar vibes to the Subculture palette, but I love how big the pans are, and I just love this color combination. I definitely have a video using this, so I will link that. Here I have the Nubian palette by Juvia's Place. This is like the first palette they ever came out with. It's just such a classic. It's one of those ones that I feel like everyone would enjoy. It's very just basic, but I love this one. And then I also have one of the newer ones from Juvia's Place. This is the Warrior palette. I do have a video on this, of course. This is just one of those dumb little Ulta like free palettes that I think you get when you know, spend a certain amount or whatever. And it's not the best, but there's just something about these shades that I really like. It's a lot of mattes, and it's some tones that I just enjoy. It's a really just cheapy little cardboard palette, but I just haven't been able to get rid of it because I like the shades in it. This palette has gotten a lot of use and abuse over the years. The like writing on the packaging is basically all worn off, but this is one of those Milani Everyday Eyes palettes in Plum Basics. This is one of the other few drugstore palettes, I guess you could say, that I have. I use this for such a long time. It's just so good for travel because it's very compact, but it's got like sturdy packaging, and I just love the shades in here. You can do something simple, or you can do something a little deeper or something purple, and this brush is actually decent too, so I really like this. I definitely recommend like this whole line. I got rid of most of my ColourPop Super Shock shadows, but I kept a couple, so I thought I would just show y'all because they're in this box. This is the shade Weenie. This is such a pretty, like, really cool rose gold shadow. And then I also have, I think this is the Birthday Boy, or, so this is also kind of a cool, like, pinky rose gold shade. I really like this. So I have a ton of these little e.l.f. Like 10 pan eyeshadow palettes. I think I have more in here, but this is the Mad for Matte Holy Smokes palette, which I do have a video all about this, so I will link that. And then this is the e.l.f. Mad for Matte Jewel Pop. This is the really colorful one. And this is the Mad for Matte 2. So these are just so nice and like small and compact, but there's 10 shades in here and a really nice mirror. So I love these. I definitely recommend them. Another Juvia's Place palette. This is the Zulu palette. I definitely have a video on this, so that'll be down below. Another one of my favorites. This is the Kathleen Lights Dream Street ColourPop collab palette. I just put up a video on this. I think this might even still be available. I really love this palette, and I definitely recommend it. This is another favorite, and kind of newish to my collection. This is the Dominique Cosmetics Latte palette. This is just a little sleeve. This is what it looks like. I freaking love this palette. I featured this, and I think it was like testing out new products or like a full face of first impression, something like that. So I'll have that linked, but I highly recommend this palette. I think that she has a really good formula, and the colors in here are gorgeous. We got some ColourPop coming up here. I have the ColourPop My Little Pony palette. I think this one came in like a BoxyCharm too. I'm not like super crazy about this palette. Like the colors are not everything, but I do really like ColourPop's formula, so I held on to this. And then I also have the Yes Please palette. This is obviously like one of their best selling palettes ever. I actually got this on the very first launch, and then y'all probably remember they were like sold out of it for forever, and then they relaunched it and they were sold out again for a long time. They've sold out of this 100,000 times, but I have had this since the beginning and I love it. Next, I have kind of a classic, the Tarte Clay Play palette. This has the eyeshadows and the bronzers. It's like a fully matte palette. I actually really like this. This is a very good like staple just to have in your collection. Next up, this is really an oldie but a goodie, and also a basic kind of classic. This is just literally the Naked Basics, like the very first one that they ever put out. So as y'all can see, this has been used and abused. Like all the shades have a pretty serious dent in them. I must have had this for like, I don't even know at this point, probably like 5-6 years. I've had this for a really long time, but this is also just so good for travel. I like can't get rid of it. Next, I have the Anastasia Prism palette. I really like this one. I definitely collect Juvia's Place palettes, and I kind of collect Anastasia palettes. I have almost all the ones that she's come out with since the Modern Renaissance. I don't have any like the really old ones before that, and but I have most of the ones since then, except for the Norvina and then the Sultry, which obviously the Sultry just came out, but I do plan on purchasing those, I believe. But this one I really love. And speaking of Anastasia, I have the Subculture palette right here. I have actually 2 videos using this. The first one didn't go so well. The second one went a little bit better. So I'm going to link both of those below, but I actually really like this palette now. I know that's unpopular opinion, but I think it's a good one. Do y'all remember this freaking palette? The very first Morphe Kathleen Lights collab? Ugh. I literally had to have this, and this is still to this day one of my all-time favorite palettes. Like, this is just such a gorgeous selection of shades, and I really personally, I know it's hit or miss for a lot of people, but I like Morphe's formula. This is just a staple. I love this palette. Next, I have another Carity palette. This is the Just Peachy palette. As y'all can imagine, it's just one of their, you know, kind of orangey toned, warm peach palettes. I do have a whole video on this palette, so I will link that below. This is actually kind of newish to my collection. I got this not too long ago, and I actually really like this. I have never tried Dose of Colors formula before. This is their Marvelous Mauves, and I really like their formula. I have a video using this, so I'll link that. but this is actually a really good palette. A little bit more ColourPop here. This is one of their palettes that I kind of like built myself. I made this whenever like they literally had first come out with their pressed shadows. I just bought a couple, and then, you know, they gave you like this little palette for free with it. So these are just a couple of the shades that I tried out. I don't remember what most of these are. I know this one is Paper Tiger, which is one of my favorites. I don't remember the names of the rest of these, but y'all know ColourPop shadows are the bomb. So I've held on to this. Next, I have another kind of oldie. This is the Carly Bybel BH Cosmetics collab, but this is the deluxe edition. I actually really love this. This is just a great palette because it also has highlighters in it, so it's kind of like a versatile palette. Great for travel. I actually wore this palette for like on the day that I got engaged, so it's kind of a special palette to me. We're kind of getting towards the end here, so don't worry. This is another Juvia's Place palette. This is one of my favorites as well. This is the Magic palette. Oop. And this is another one of those just super oversized pan palettes. I absolutely love this one. There's literally like every shade you could possibly ever want in here. And, oh, Juvia's Place quality, I literally cannot get over. I love their, especially, like, these giant palettes. They're my favorite. Like, I like these size ones, but they just have, like, a million in this size. Like, just here in this pile alone, you can see I have just 4 of their, like, square 6-pan palettes. Or are these 9? 9. So a lot of their palettes are just the same exact size 9-pan palettes, but I really prefer these giant ones, so I just hope that they continue to come out with these big ones because I really like them. I have another Bad Habit palette here. This is the After Hours, which I think was supposed to be a dupe for one of those really mini Huda Beauty palettes. I don't remember the exact one, but I just loved the like burgundy shades in this palette, and Bad Habit has such good quality shadows. I think this was like $10, so I love it. Alright, my camera battery is going to die, so we got to pick up speed a little bit. But I have the Shan XO Remix palette. This is the second version she did with BH Cosmetics, and it has like the eyeshadow palettes on both sides. I love this palette. I think I have a video on it, so I'll link it down below. It's a really good one. Next, I have some classics. I have had these in my collection for years and years and years. These are the 2 Lorac Pro palettes, the 1 and the 2. I never went any further than just these 2, but I will always hold on to those. I also have this Makeup Revolution, I think this is called the, Reloaded palette. This is supposed to be a dupe for the Subculture palette. And, I mean, it's not the best palette I have, but I do really like the shades in here. It's nice. This is just a little free birthday palette NYX gave away for, like, your Ulta reward maybe this year or last year. So I have this little palette. It's not, you know, the best thing ever, but it is a pretty nice palette. And then I have some more of the Too Faced, like, scented palettes. I have the Chocolate Bar, the original, and then also the Chocolate Bonbons palette. I love both of these so much. These next 2 are classics. I have the Modern Renaissance, which is, to this day, my all-time favorite eyeshadow palette. I used this on my wedding day, and I do have a video using it, which is my wedding day makeup look, so I will link that for sure. And then, of course, the tried and true beloved Naked palette by Urban Decay. This is being discontinued, which is so sad. But this is, of course, as you all probably have also the same experience. This was my very first, like, big eyeshadow palette ever. So this has a special place in my heart. Here is another YouTube collab. This is the Kristen Leanne and Urban Decay Daydream eyeshadow palette. This is just like a 5-pan palette. It's nothing too crazy, but it is pretty good. I do like it. I have the Morphe 3502 palette, so this is the second one. I never ended up purchasing the first one, but I liked the second one so much better, so I grabbed this one. And the very last one I am going to show y'all. Oops, just kidding. I have a couple more. I also have the Persona Cosmetics Identity palette. I do have a video on this on my channel, so I'll definitely link that below. I actually got featured on Persona's Instagram story for like their look of the week using this palette. It was on the look that I did in that video, so definitely check that out. It was a really cool thing. I also have the Pure Soiree Diaries palette. This came in a BoxyCharm. This is definitely not like one of my favorites, but it has some good staples, so I hold on to it. And then the last one that I have in this box here is, of course, the Morphe Jaclyn Hill palette. Y'all have all seen this. You probably all have it. It's a big deal. This was from the very first launch. My husband got this for me for my birthday whenever this first launched. So this is like the original packaging. But of course, I love this. This is a staple. This is a classic. So this is the mess we have now created. I did just want a quick mention. I do have some more palettes than this. I have like the Laura Lee Nudie Patootie palette. That's the palette that I'm using right now. That's over at my vanity. And then I have a couple others that I actually haven't used yet that are new. Like some of the Jaclyn Hill Vault palettes. I have the newest Juvia's Place Afrique palette. I have a few that I've purchased that I keep aside because I haven't used yet, and either I want to wait till like I'm ready to use them, or I'm going to film a video with them. So this is not the full extent of my collection, but this is obviously like the majority of it. Alright y'all, to get all of these palettes to fit in this, this is like one of the deeper of the Alex drawers. I have to like jigsaw the shit out of this. So as y'all can see, I started with like my really big palettes. This is the Morphe 24G. This stretches almost the entire like width of the drawer. So I started with my really big palettes and then just started stacking them. What I actually did, which I think is a good tip, is I think we're probably like inclined to put our palettes in like this, kind of like facing forward, and slide them in this way. But I suggest actually flipping them around and putting them in what feels like backwards, because then you can see the binding, which some of them, I don't know why, like they all don't. Those keep doing that. I don't know why they all don't have the names on them, but like this Magic by Juvia's Place has the name. This is the Masquerade. This one doesn't. But I can kind of just tell by the color what these are. Like this is obviously the Carly Bybel palette. The Makeup Revolution one says Makeup Revolution. So you can kind of tell by the binding what palette they are. And I feel like that might be easier rather than just trying to like look at the colors over here, if you know what I mean. So I suggest doing that just so that when you're reaching for these, it's just gonna be a little bit easier to know where what you're looking for is. So I stacked those all up, and then I just shoved some of my like thinner or smaller palettes over here in like the little crevice between there and the side of the drawer. And then my 3 little tiny elf palettes actually stacked up like perfectly in between these two. So these are all like super jigsawed. Like these like cannot move at all. They're just super like squished in between each other, which is obviously the most efficient way to get the most use out of your drawer. So now what I'm trying to do is just kind of organize these a little bit more. So what I ended up doing is just on the floor here, I kind of put all the palettes that are like similar shape and size to each other, put them all kind of together in like little groups so that I can try to figure out how to best fit them all in the drawer. So hopefully I can fit them all, because I really don't want to have multiple drawers. So the only thing that kind of sucks about these Juvia's Place palettes is they're like a really nice little shape. The problem is they're just like barely too tall to be able to stand up in the drawer. Like obviously y'all can see like some of these Carity palettes, and I have some of like the Too Faced palettes over here. Like those all stand up perfectly fine, but these ones don't. So like you have no choice but to lay these down like this. So what I did is I just stacked all of them up right here on top of each other, and then I'm just trying to figure out how to like fit the rest of the palettes like on either side and like over here. Alright, so we're starting to get into a little bit of a pickle here, because like a lot of these are fitting really nicely right now. Like these slid in like perfectly right here. This is all like literally, you can't even wiggle these. These are like perfectly packed in, kind of like right flush with the top of the drawer, but I still have all of these. I know that's not gonna fit. That's gonna be an issue, but I am a freaking like magician. Do y'all see how I like jimmied? You literally, like I said, you literally can barely even move these. They're so tightened together, but I literally jimmied these all like right in this little crevice. Like they literally fit perfectly right there. Are y'all ready to be impressed? Watch this. Boom. So this is how the drawer is, basically with like everything jigsaw puzzled in here, like as secure as it can get. But I do have a little bit more room like depth wise on top of these, and like just here and over here. So this is basically like as full as it can be comfortably, but I still have to find a way to fit these last couple guys in there. Alright, you guys, I think we are officially like maxed out. Like I don't know if y'all can tell, but this is literally like it's as high as I can get it, basically. Like these all barely clear the drawer, and this is also filled as deep as it can get. I'm sure you guys kind of know how big these drawers are, but like I wish y'all could appreciate the magnitude of how full this is, and like how efficiently I packed this. Like this is literally taking, I feel like, the most advantage of the amount of room in this drawer that you can. Can I fit this here maybe? Not really. Maybe this one? Hell yeah. Do y'all see this? Like, yes.
Hey, Sean.
Hi, brother. This is basically as full as this can literally get. This drawer has got to weigh like 50 pounds right now. So that's pretty much all I can fit in there. I just have like these couple guys left, so I'm gonna find somewhere for them. Y'all, I just counted, and including like the various palettes that I have, you know, just like around that are not in front of me right now, I have just about 70 eyeshadow palettes, which is crazy. And I mean, when you like outgrow one of these drawers, like when you can no longer fit your palettes in one of these drawers, I think that's how you know you have potentially a problem. Not that it's a problem, I love eyeshadow palettes and I use all of them, so it's totally not a problem, but I do need to find out what I'm gonna do with the rest of these. Okay, so what I just decided to do is throw the rest of those palettes. This is my like bronzer palette drawer, and so I just decided to throw the rest of those palettes just kind of in the back here, because I did have a lot of extra room in this drawer, so I just threw those back there. Those aren't ones that I use like a ton anyway, but I am good about like knowing the inventory of my drawers, so I'll definitely remember that those are there. So that is going to be everything for this video. I hope that you guys enjoyed. It was very like helpful to film this just because it kind of helps keep me like, I feel like a little bit like accountable to getting this shit done, and it was just fun to film. I like watching these kind of videos, so I figured it would be fun to show y'all my progress as well. But that is going to be it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you would like to subscribe, we would love to have you. We have so much fun here, and until next time, I will see you guys in our next video. Bye guys.